Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody is doing well out there. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years now talking about Docker and self-hosting and things like that. But one thing we've never really touched on is network monitoring and seeing the traffic that's happening on our Docker devices. So in this video, what I want to show is how to set up and monitor traffic using Wireshark in Docker. But first, a quick message from today's video sponsor. YourCDKey.com is a great place to get Windows 10 keys at incredibly low prices. So here we are on the Microsoft Windows 10 Pro page, and right here you can see the current price is $20.05. But if you use the coupon code that's in the description down below, you'll get it even cheaper. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in here and click apply. And now our new total for Windows 10 Pro is about 15 bucks. Now I have the option to go ahead and view the keys right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Then I'll click on get the key. And then I'm going to come over here, and right there you can change the product key. So go ahead and click on that. I'm going to go ahead and change the product key right here. So I've entered my key and I'll click next. Then I'll click on activate. And here we can see that Windows is activated. Next, what we want to do is go ahead and validate the key installation, and right there you can see the Windows 10 Professional Edition is permanently activated. So head on over to YourCDKey.com to get your next Windows 10 Pro key at ridiculously low prices. Okay guys, so here we are on my desktop. We're going to use Portainer to deploy this Wireshark container, but there are different ways that you could do this if you wanted to, either using a Docker Compose file and deploying via command line, or you could actually just use the Docker command line information shown here on this page. Either of those are options, but for the sake of simplicity, we're going to use Portainer. I have done a video on how to install Portainer in the past, so definitely check out that video if you'd like to do that instead of doing things through command line. Now that we've kind of got that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at how to get this installed via Portainer. So what we're going to do is, once we're here, we're going to go over here to stacks, and we're going to add a new stack. And then we're just going to go ahead and paste that in, and we'll give it a name. And then we can kind of go through this and talk about what's going on here. So we're going to use a version 2.1 stack in this case. I've got a volume set up for Wireshark, but I'm doing this more specifically because I'm on a Synology device. When you're dealing with Synology devices, they are a bit more finicky about deploying containers like this. In fact, they're finicky about deploying a lot of different types of containers, but specifically something like this. If you weren't going to be on a Synology device, you could actually go ahead and remove, those two lines, and then come down here to this volume. And then just whatever your path to your config would be, you'd put in there wherever you wanted to store your configuration files. You could go ahead and put that into the volume path and deploy it that way as well. But again, I'm on a Synology device, so I'm going to go ahead and use volumes here. Okay, so below that, we've got services. That service is going to be Wireshark. We're going to use the Linux server version of Wireshark for this. We love Linux server here, so that's what we're going to use. The container name doesn't really apply because we're using Portainer, but if you're going to use the command line or a Docker Compose file, the container name here would be more relevant. It's not going to hurt anything to leave it there, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Next, we've got Capability Edition, that cap add right here. We're going to give it a network administration privileges, just meaning that it has access to read network configuration stuff and what's going on with your network interface. So that's all the net admin is there. Also, the network mode will be host. Also, for the same reason, we want it to be able to look over all of our network all of our network interfaces and be able to read data from them. So we need to make sure to give that permission using those two lines there. Below that, we've got a PUID and PGID under environment. If you're not sure how to get your PUID and PGID, all you need to do is go ahead and get SSH'd into your server here, and then type an ID space, and then whatever in my case, because I'm using a Synology device, I'm going to use my Synology username. So I'll just go ahead and type that in. Oops. Like so, and here we can see UID is 1026, which translates over to PUID, and then GID translates over to PGID, and that's 100. So I've gone ahead and placed those numbers in there, and that's just to give permission, access, that sort of thing for the container. Below that, we've got a time zone. I'm close to Denver, so that's the time zone I'm using there. Of course, we talked about this volume here. And then below that, ports 3000. I did try to change this to a different port and did not have good luck. So you can try to manipulate that as needed. What I had done earlier with something like 3030 on the external port, and it just didn't work for me. That may have been a me issue, so go ahead and test that at your leisure. I'm going to go ahead and leave this on port 3000. And then below that, restart unless stopped. Pretty common setting here. Just if something happens, the container will automatically restart itself unless you as an admin user go in there and manually stop the container. So that's basically all that's going on there. So all we've got to do now is go ahead and scroll down to the very bottom of the page and click on Deploy the Stack.
A few moments later.
So here we've got Wireshark up and running, it looks like. So let's go ahead and jump into here. Let's take a look at the logs. And right down here, we can see that it's starting a Guacamole Lite WebSocket server, and it's listening on port 3000. So those are both good to see. That means we should be able to get up and running here. Now, one thing I do want to mention, I'm going to go ahead and just copy this over and change that to 3000. However, if we just go to port 3000, that's probably, it may work, it may not. Oh, there we go. All right. So if it doesn't work, if it doesn't automatically take you there, you will want to modify that URL just a little bit. If I can find it right there, by adding /login equals true, and then log in with that. When you do that, the username and password will both be just ABC, and I'll have that listed down in the description below. Also, it actually says it right there as well. So you'll have access to all of this data, either on this link, which will also be linked in the description down below, or in the description itself. So if we come over to here, let's go ahead and make this full screen. Hell, why not? And here we can see all of the different interfaces that I have on my Synology device. Now, realistically, only a couple of these are actual physical network interfaces. And what we're looking at there is ETH0 and ETH2. I've also got ETH1. It's not doing anything, and that's fine. I don't even have anything plugged into that, so that's why it's not doing anything there. But we've also got several other like virtual network interfaces based on Docker containers. So if you wanted to look at a specific container, if you knew what its interface was, you could absolutely do that by just selecting one of the relevant Docker IDs right down here. For the sake of simplicity, what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and take a look at this ETH0. I'm just going to double click it. And then just that quickly, here we can see that there's traffic. We can see what ports it's on. We can kind of get all of the information that we need, or that we're, or maybe we didn't know we needed, as far as what protocol, the destination ports, sources, times, and then what the actual ID number is for that particular network transaction. So we can just scroll down here. It looks like lots of stuff on 115 and 134. 134 is actually the computer that I'm on as my main PC. So let's go ahead and scroll down. So in here we can see other things have popped up like Synology, Raspberry Pi. You can see the IP addresses associated with those. So if we just kind of keep scrolling through here, there was something that I missed right here. That's an IPv6 address that was trying to access something there. And I don't have a lot going on. My network security, I'd like to think, is pretty good as far as who I let in my system. So there's not going to be a whole lot of exciting stuff in my setup here. If we wanted to, we could actually just jump down to the very end using this little button right there. And then we can, of course, keep scrolling. Ooh, what was that? Again, so we've got Synology, destination was Gigabyte. They just, looks like they had a little handshake right there. So that gives us the option to take a look at whatever network interface we want to and see what kind of traffic is going on there, what the source is, what the destination is, those sorts of things. So we can get an idea of what kind of craziness may be going on that device. Now, let's say, again, like with this device, I've got multiple network interfaces that I want to take a look at, but right now it's only showing me ETH0. So if I wanted to go ahead and take a look at a different interface, what I can do is come up here and click stop, and then come up here to this little config wheel right here, click that, and then I can come over and select whichever other device I want to take a look at there. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethernet 2 there. We'll click start. Now we have the option to save our existing session, or just say don't, but start a new session anyway. That's what I'm going to do. And here, just that quickly, we can see that there is more going on here. Ooh, there was a big chunk of stuff. Some more Synology stuff. So we've got some different things going on in here. And of course, we can do more research. If any of that looks sketchy or out of place, And of course, like I said, we can, jump down to the bottom. But that's just going to eventually not take us any further than that. So what I like to do in this case, if I want to keep a running log or a running screen going on here, you can just click this little button right next to it. And here we can see that it just kind of does an auto scroll as far as the network traffic that's being transmitted and received on the system here. So that's how we can take a look at that in more real time. So that's a quick run through on Wireshark. Hopefully you found the video helpful. If you did, it really would mean a lot to me if you gave the video a thumbs up. So I do want to give a big shout out to my channel members, my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean quite a lot to me. But I think with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So as always, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next video.